Welcome back. Let's talk about something we all feel at the office, but rarely admit, the fear of not being good enough. When you walk into a meeting room, do you ever feel like you don't belong there? That's called imposter syndrome. It's that quiet voice in your head whispering, everyone here is smarter than you. Sooner or later, they'll find out you're a fraud. And here's the strange truth. The more capable you actually are, the louder that voice tends to get. Studies have shown that high achievers, doctors, engineers, executives, feel this exact same fear, even after years of proven success. So if you feel this way, please hear me clearly. You are not broken. You are not behind. You are simply human. Let me give you a very specific example, one that I know many of you have lived through. You finish a project, your manager says, "Great job," and instead of feeling proud, your mind immediately jumps to, "They're just being nice. It wasn't really that good." This pattern has a name. Psychologists call it discounting the positive, and it is one of the clearest signs of imposter syndrome. There's actually a close cousin to this feeling, one that hides behind a much more respectable name: perfectionism. We tend to praise perfectionists. We call them hardworking, detail-oriented, dedicated. But underneath, perfectionism is often just fear wearing a suit and tie. A perfectionist doesn't submit a report because it's ready. They submit it because they're too exhausted to fear it anymore. If this sounds like you, here's something important to understand. Done and honest will always serve you better than perfect and delayed. Your manager rarely needs perfection. What they actually need is reliability, someone who delivers, communicates, and keeps moving forward. Now let's talk about where this feeling often comes from: peer pressure in the workplace. You scroll through LinkedIn and you see a former classmate getting promoted, closing a huge deal, or speaking on stage at a conference. And suddenly, that quiet voice returns. Why am I still stuck here? What's wrong with me? But here's what nobody tells you. Everyone's timeline is different, and comparison always steals the joy out of your own progress. The person you're comparing yourself to is also comparing themselves to someone else, right at this very moment. What you're seeing online is also never the full picture. Nobody posts a photo of the meeting where they froze, or the project that quietly failed. Social media only shows the highlight reel, never the hundreds of quiet, difficult moments that happened right before it. This becomes even more complicated in international offices, where you might be comparing yourself not just to peers, but to native English speakers. You might think, my grammar isn't perfect, my accent is different, so my ideas must be worth less. That belief is simply not true. Fluency and intelligence are two completely different things. A slight accent has never once made an idea less brilliant. In fact, some of the most respected voices in global business speak English as a second, third, or even fourth language. What people remember isn't your pronunciation. It's whether your idea was clear, useful, and delivered with genuine conviction. So the question isn't how to stop comparing completely. The real question is how to build genuine confidence, even while that feeling still exists. Let's talk about confident communication, especially in front of your boss or an important client. Here's the first mistake most people make. They believe confidence means having zero fear. But real confidence isn't the absence of fear. It's choosing to speak anyway, even while your hands are slightly shaking. So next time you're in a meeting and you have an idea worth sharing, try this simple technique. Pause before you speak. That short pause tells your brain, and everyone in the room, that your words carry weight. Instead of saying, "Sorry, this might be a stupid question, but," try saying, "I'd like to add a different perspective here." Notice the difference. The first sentence apologizes for existing. The second one claims your rightful place at the table. Your words don't have to be perfect. They just have to be honest and clearly spoken. This same principle applies to written communication too, especially in professional emails. Avoid starting every email with, "Sorry to bother you again," or "This might not be important, but..." These small phrases seem polite, but over time, they quietly train people to take your messages less seriously. Instead, try opening with something direct. "I wanted to flag an important update," or "Following up on our discussion, here's my recommendation." Confident language, spoken or written, always centers your message first, and your self-doubt never has to be part of the sentence. Now, let's go one step further, into a situation many of you have asked me about, negotiating with a client who seems more powerful than you. When a client pushes back on your proposal, your instinct might be to immediately apologize and back down. Instead, try this phrase, "I understand your concern. Let me walk you through why we recommended this approach." This sentence does something powerful. It validates the other person's feelings without erasing your own professional judgment. If the client still disagrees after your explanation, it's okay to say, "That's a fair point. Let's find a middle ground that works for both sides." Notice this sentence never sounds weak. It sounds like someone who is collaborative, not someone who is caving under pressure. Confidence in business English is rarely about being the loudest voice in the room. It's about being the clearest one. Now, let's talk about your body language, because confidence is felt long before it is heard. Keep your shoulders relaxed, not hunched forward as if you're trying to disappear. Make eye contact, not aggressively, but steadily, as if you genuinely believe what you're saying. And please, slow down your speech. Nervous energy always makes us rush our words. A slower pace doesn't just sound calmer. It actually makes your brain think more clearly in real time. There's one more physical habit worth mentioning, something we rarely talk about: how we sit in a meeting room. People who feel unworthy often sit at the edge of their chair, near the door, as if ready to leave at any moment. Try sitting fully back in your chair instead. Let your body physically claim the space that was already given to you. Small physical shifts like this send a quiet signal to your own nervous system, long before anyone else even notices. Let's also talk about handling criticism, because this is often where imposter syndrome hits the hardest. When your boss points out a mistake, it's easy to hear it as "you are not good enough," instead of simply "this specific thing needs improvement." Try responding with, "Thank you for the feedback. I'll revise this by tomorrow." Simple, professional, and free of unnecessary self-blame. One piece of feedback is never a verdict on your entire worth as a professional. In fact, try reframing every piece of criticism as data, not judgment. Data simply tells you what to adjust next time. Even the most successful professionals in the world receive criticism weekly. The difference is, they've learned not to attach their identity to it. Now, let's address something deeper. Imposter syndrome often grows stronger in environments where mistakes feel dangerous. If your workplace punishes every small error harshly, of course you'll feel afraid to speak up. But here's a gentle reminder. Your value at work was never meant to depend on being flawless. It depends on your willingness to learn, to adapt, and to show up honestly, even on your hardest days. Let's talk about one more quiet struggle: being a naturally quiet or introverted person in a workplace that seems to reward the loudest voices. If you've ever left a meeting thinking, "I had a great idea," but someone else said it first, louder, you are not alone. Being quiet is not a weakness. Quiet people often listen more carefully and speak with far more precision when they finally do. If speaking up in real time feels difficult, try preparing one sentence in advance before every meeting, just one, and commit to saying it out loud. Over weeks and months, that one prepared sentence slowly becomes 2, then 3, until speaking up simply becomes part of who you are. So here's a small exercise you can try tonight. Write down 3 things you accomplished today, no matter how small. Maybe you answered a difficult email calmly. Maybe you asked a question you were afraid to ask. Over time, this simple habit rewires your brain to notice evidence of your own competence. I also want to give you one more tool, something you can use the moment that fear shows up, right before you walk into a big meeting. Stand somewhere quiet for 30 seconds, take 3 slow breaths, and say silently to yourself, I am prepared. I am allowed to take up space here. This isn't about pretending fear doesn't exist. It's about reminding yourself of the truth, right before fear tries to speak louder than it should. One last relationship worth mentioning is the one you have with your colleagues, especially when someone else's success accidentally triggers your own insecurity. If a coworker gets recognized and you feel a small sting of jealousy, that feeling doesn't make you a bad person. It simply makes you human. The healthiest response isn't to suppress that feeling, but to notice it and then still choose to congratulate them genuinely. Because someone else's achievement was never a subtraction from your own worth. There is enough room at the table for more than one person to succeed. And here's my final thought for you today. The people who seem the most confident in that meeting room, they're scared too. They've simply learned to let their fear sit quietly in the back seat while their voice still moves forward. You don't need to eliminate fear to become confident. You only need to keep speaking, one honest sentence at a time. So the next time that voice in your head whispers, you don't belong here, take a breath and gently answer back, I'm still learning, and that's exactly why I belong. Thank you for spending this time with me today. If this episode meant something to you, share it with a colleague who might need to hear it too. Take care of yourself, be patient with your own growth, and I'll see you in the next episode.